Welcome back to Canning with Purpose. Today we're going to be doing stewed tomatoes in quart jars. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share out this video. Here I have our pot of water going because we have to de-skin these. I'm going to grab a serrated knife. And where did that little tool go? Probably in the canning cupboard. There we are. And this little tool right here is a strawberry hauler, but it works good for anything. So all you're gonna do, take out the center of these cores, just like so, and set that tomato aside. Let our water heat up. We want it heated up, but we don't want it to come to a full boil. You are going to need what's that called? A container with cold water in it, or water and ice, because you want to be able to cool these down as quick as possible. I don't have ice, so I'm just going to use water to cool mine down. You gotta be careful when you're doing that. These little teeth are sharp. Some of these tomatoes are not completely ripe. Oh, wrong one. Wrong pile. They fell off the vine, and by the time I get to canning them, that one's not ripe enough. I have my standards. There's a big green spot on that one, so those are sitting in the window. Or you can put them in a brown paper bag that ripens them up too. But by the time I get to it, I'll be going back to work. They'll be ripe, and I won't want to do it. So I'll have to force myself to can. As some canners know, you get tired, and I get burnt out sometimes with canning. But at the same time, you need to do this. Feed your family. Not only do you know what's going in this food, you grew it, or you went to the farmer's market and got it. One of the two. This tomato here, I might have to use a knife for because of how big the spot is that it ripened on the vine. As you can tell, I'm still canning. That was a beet stem. My goodness. Next time, use a knife. Note to self. You're gonna get that core out of there if you can. There we are. So I'm going to turn my tomatoes over. This is the easiest way that I've found. This one's got a split in it, so it does make it a little bit easier. And the reason why I core these, take the core out of here before I put them in the water, is because they're going to peel from all different angles. So all you're going to do, take your knife and make an X in the bottom of your tomato. Yep. And the peels are going to peel right off when after they cool. Get back their tomato. So we have our water in our bucket. The bucket's stained, so just ignore that. A good solution, if you do not have ice, are ice packs. Get them for like $1. They'll do the trick. You can also use bottles of water that have been frozen. By the looks of it, our water is almost done. Let's check that out. Oh yeah, we're getting there. Getting there. I'm gonna gently put those tomatoes in there. Once you get one in there, then you can basically drop it on top of each other so you don't burn your fingers like I am doing. I'm only going to put that many in there, so that way I don't overcrowd them. They're easier to get out of the pan. And over here is our bucket, which has quite a bit of water in it. I have jars in the dishwasher that have already been sanitized, and I got water in the microwave to sanitize our lids. As you can see, that tomato right there, the peel's starting to peel away from the outside. I said you don't need your water that hot. This one is. This one over here you probably barely see, but it's a nice little trick to peel them tomatoes. I've always peeled my tomatoes. I've never left skin on. When you're done peeling your tomatoes, you can dehydrate the tomato peel and make powdered paste out of it for your spaghetti sauce and all that. So I am going to be doing that. Let's check it out. See what they look like. Oh, see that X right there? Not quite peeled yet. It's starting to though. Let's try to get out this big boy. I see that starting to peel. That's exactly what you want. Keep an eye on these because it happens very quickly. We've got an abundance of tomatoes out there this year. This is one of my favorite things to do, putting it in meatloaf or in soups and all kinds of stuff you can do it with. So, I'm going to pull out my canning jars. Mind you, they have already been sanitized. And we're going to get these jars prepped up and ready to go. You're going to need lemon juice and salt, canning salt. Oh, I always shut that. Force of habit, I suppose. I'm going to go to my canning cabinet, get out my salt. This is what my canning cabinet looks like, if anybody's wondering. This is one section of it. And over here on the other side, I have more. Not so much on that side. More pickling crisp. Good, Joe might need some of this. I'm going to have to take that out and give him some because he's making pickles for his wife. I try to help out another canner if I can. It's a nice thing to do. Oh, look at that one. That one's peeling away nicely. Just that, it don't take long. Got about a couple more minutes and they'll be done, and we can throw them in our ice bath with our ice packs. Now I'm using 1/3. I don't like that much salt, and you want to do that per jar. There's several different ways of doing this. Depends on the person. I will be doing more of these with just 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. in each jar. There's our salt. I'm going to turn around and I am going to move my canning salt and grab my lemon juice. It's always nice to have a big bottle of lemon juice in your fridge, if you can get the lid off. Let's see if my scissors have one of them grippy things. Nope. That's the only, oh yeah, it does. Sweet. If I can do it. Holy cow. Don't want to come off with a grippy thing neither. There it goes. That's the only problem with lemon juice, keeping it in the bottle, because it has a tendency to seal up like that. So we're going to do 1 tablespoon, or 1 teaspoon, sorry, per jar. These are going to be water baths. It's a high acid food, so you gotta water bath these. I'm doing mine for a half an hour. Oh, I'm spilling it. Now I was gonna make these regular tomatoes, but in order to do regular tomatoes, this is all you do to your jars. And as you're gonna see, I'm gonna pull these tomatoes out, peel them, and stick them in the jar after I wash my funnel. But I am gonna make herbed tomatoes, as I call it. Keep in mind that when you're using dried herbs, this is Italian seasoning, but when you're using dried herbs, a little bit goes a very long ways. Dried herbs are more potent than fresh. So you figure to be the other way around, but it's not. I had a tad bit more than that one. Yeah, fuck it. Well, I had a tad more to all of them. But yeah, you don't want to add too much. In my opinion, it don't look like there's enough in them jars. That's plenty. You don't want to overdo it neither. And it worked good in a meatloaf. Ow. Shut my finger in the cover. It definitely worked good in a meatloaf if you ever did over season your tomato, or your tomatoes. Alright, so what I'm doing is I'm grabbing these tomatoes, bringing them over, and putting them directly in the ice bath to stop them from cooking. Okay? I'm still debating on that one. This one looks pretty good. See how it's pulled away from the actual tomato, the peel? That's what you're looking for. See, this one's split. The skin split. That's a good sign. I'm going to take this monster out. This one weighed almost 1 pound. Just pretty damn good size for a tomato. Put all those in that bath, or cold bath. Okay, now that those ones are in the cold water, we're going to add more. This is not going to take long. Pull all this off. The longer your tomatoes sit in the cool water, the longer they're going to be easier to peel. If you have one section that's not quite ripe right all the way, you're going to have a little bit of trouble peeling it. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these ones out because they are more than ready. Turn off my water here in a second. Now I really do recommend when you just put tomatoes in the cold water that you wait a little bit, or you can have a divider like my ice blocks, I guess you would want to call them, are my divider for these tomatoes over here, and these ones are real hot still. The divider would definitely help you. Some of them can go a little bit longer. I'll just let them soak a bit in their hot water, and then I'll pull those. I'll show you one more time. Dog's silly. On how to peel these tomatoes. It's real simple. See how they don't want to peel correctly? That's because this section over here is not ripe all the way. Like I said, I'm gonna run out of time. I've heard the method of putting them in the freezer. I haven't tried that myself. I prefer to do it a certain way, and that's that. So if you have used that method, I've heard good things about it, I've heard bad things about it. Leave me a comment and let me know what your experiences were with it. Alright, so we're going to put our tomatoes that are whole in the jar. Just like this. I'm hoping to get 5 jars out of this. The way this is looking, I don't know. Now the tomatoes are going to create their own juice, so you don't have to worry about that part. I might get 2 jars if we're lucky. Shoot. This big one, I'm gonna have to break in half. Because that's the only way it's venting in the jar. I don't want to add too many tomatoes to these jars, because you'll see when I pull them out of the canner that these tomatoes are going to create a lot of juice. You can save this juice and have it for drinking purposes if you want. It's all up to you, what you prefer. Yep, we got 3 jars. Well, 3 is better than 2. There we are. Wash off my hands. Like I said, our water has been sitting there. I put it in the microwave for 3 minutes. Set that juice aside. And grab our rings. You don't want a ring that looks like this, all rusty. No good. Unfortunately, because I don't like throwing out rings and all that other stuff. So, you can always make it some kind of decorative item. You see the rust down in there. It's not a good thing. So, you want to throw that aside and not use it. So we're going to get ready. Put these in our canner. You see that? Tomatoes are already creating their own juice. And I haven't even put them in the canner for a half an hour. Ended up with 2 jars instead of 3. So I got to put more water in this canner. Now if your jars have too much air in them, they will float and look like they're dancing around. You don't want that. I'm going to turn our burner on low. Let that water heat back up, although it's pretty damn hot.